He's got a lot of women around him and he's got a big personality. But when he said what he didn't hit, it was hard for her to take. I'm going to tell you, I want to know your cow, not the life thing on your face. She came to serve another life, and I'm okay with that. But then the same war, a judicial war, ended up in history. I managed to go around up in music and roast. He's a big guy and he's got a lot of money. I'm not jealous, but I do feel a bit insecure. I'm not sure if I'm ready to settle down. I'm 42 and I've had some similar experiences. I'm not sure if I'm ready to settle down, but I'm open to it. Anna had a difficult pregnancy, and her ex-husband and his partner were not supportive. Things got crazy, but in the end, things worked out. Hi, Rosanna. How old are you? I'm 42 and my story is similar. There were some strange people involved and I was a bit lost. I'm not sure if you know, but my family also wanted me to marry him. We dated for 7 years before getting married. After 7 years, we got married. It was a beautiful ceremony. He actually liked me, but he didn't love me. I didn't love him and we got married during that time. Dating and marriage have always been very affordable for me. I've always been very jealous. I thought maybe he said those things to me to get money to marry me. I thought someone could come into my dream, so I had an unhealthy jealousy. I wanted no one to run over him. When we were on the single street that people met, someone like a day kissed the possibility of meeting with a hose because I don't add. Sometimes I even cried. I already felt extremely sick. Then we ended dating many times and then we ended up falling here at Uva Change. He was not happy with me. Pressure from him began and so that the pregnant, and I still didn't want to be pregnant that. I really didn't want him to get run over. We were on a one-way street and I was with someone I'd only met once. I didn't want to meet with the hose because I didn't want to add that possibility to the mix. I was already extremely sick of movies and I even cried. I had already seen this movie and it was something sick. We ended up dating many times and then we fell for each other. He was not happy with me and he put pressure on me to get pregnant. I didn't want to be pregnant, but I finally got pregnant. This was almost 2 years ago. I told him that I got pregnant and he was shocked. I suspected a girl I worked with at the reception desk. I stayed thinking like this and I was very upset. I imagined Adrian preaching Camila and I wanted to go there and confront her. One day I was sleeping and I heard someone. I waited a little more, but he pressed the plant so hard that it finally yielded fruit. This was almost 2 years ago. I told him that I was pregnant and he was shocked. I suspected that the girl I worked with at the reception desk was the one. I stayed thinking like this, imagining Adrian and Camila together and how I would confront her. One day I was sleeping and heard someone. Each inner voice told me not to be jealous. If I was, we could look at his cell phone. I saw the name of a man right on his phone, along with many connections. He didn't start telling me about a friend from work who is called Paula. She is a daughter of a friend, Linda. I don't know what to show you, but I'll tell you this. Various things of this nature. I'm not sure how to feel about this. I was married to a woman who didn't want to have a baby. I don't cheat on my husband. I only looked at his cell phone when I was trying to find out who Rodrigo was. I found out that he was the brother of Fulana de Paula. I was in love with her. He was the one who was in love with her. He thought he trusted her the most. He thought she understood him in everything. I was married to a really great girl, but she had a hard time having a baby. I never cheated on my husband. The only time I looked at his phone was when I found a message from Rodrigo. He called several times, and when I answered, he said he was the brother of Fulana de Paula. He said he was in love with her, and that she thought he trusted her the most. She thought he understood her in everything. I said, oh, but she understands everything. She thinks I trust her the most. I'm disgusted with you. I was not because I was wrong. You were the worst lie of my life. I stayed with you for 5 months. How is it like that? Since when did you start creating pregnancy throughout the world? Even if I understand that, there was enchantment. I know you have a lot of time and I'm grateful for that. You're the one I trust the most and I'm sorry if I've disappointed you. I was wrong and I'm sorry for the hurt I caused. I was so scared and I couldn't trust anyone. I was pregnant and I couldn't believe it. I was so scared, but I had to trust him. He said he was my big staff and he was right. I had a baby inside me and he said I was not disgusting. I don't know what to do. I'm sorry to my friends and my family. I was recording a 5-month group. And even my husband arrived and revealed that I was pregnant. He was shocked, and when he said, "Here you are, a big staff," the baby was already hard as a stone. He said, "I'm not disgusted by you. I don't know what she's with, but we'll stay here. I'll speak to you. You get away from my friends, and it's not easy for my family." He said he never passed no one and he doesn't like me. Our marriage is because he doesn't leave his family home. I'll be able to see you. People did so much at the supermarket. You have to pass, you stayed there to show the main accounts. Look at it. It's a lie. He was not animated. His mother was there for everything. He told me that he didn't like me anymore. And he had already done the accounts on his head. I'm not one to tell a lie. I never passed on anyone. I don't like our marriage because it doesn't leave his family home. I'll be able to see you. People did so much at the supermarket. You have to pass, you stayed there to show the main accounts. Look, it's a lie. He wasn't animated. His mother was there for everything. He told me that he didn't like me anymore, and that he had already done the accounts on his head. He was supposed to leave the apartment and live in my house. His father would buy my part and live with her in the apartment. She and her baby. I have already had everything. I thought you left. That's what I was retired with. Everything knows it happened like that. When I got married, I took it up. I am quite capricious, so I got the house. I took a picture of my son. It's all right, a photo of each corner of. He was supposed to leave the apartment and move in with me. My father was going to buy my share of the apartment so that he and his new girlfriend could live there. I had already done everything I could to make that happen. I was very excited about the idea of moving in with her. Everyone knew that was how it was going to happen. When I got married, I took it up with him. I'm a bit capricious, so I took a picture of my son. I took a photo of each corner of the house. I sent him the photo, and then I think he didn't lock her. She lived there. I had a relationship with her. I know I don't. It was a wedding. She dated with Kara, became pregnant with him, and lived with him at his father's house. Then he lived his best life. He has to tell me that I went off her. She was living in the apartment, which was her house. Then she thought of creating a voucher. Talk to him right. I'll make the head of him and ready. I sent him to the house and I think he didn't lock her. She lived there. I had a relationship with her, but I don't know if it was a good one. She dated a man named Kara, and she became pregnant with him. They lived with his father, and then she lived her best life. She told me that I was living in the apartment, which was her house. Then she thought of creating a voice. Talk to him. I'll make him the head, and I'll be ready. That woman said that some people are not so great. They can involve the guy. I didn't kill him. Not that I asked me in front of the woman, but there are women who have lips. It is not that the man who has inside is not open to either, and then the thing that happened. And he wanted me to leave the apartment. Then I fought, obviously. I'm a stressed person like that. I stayed at home, and then I remembered I was pregnant with a beating. The woman said that you have a place for people who are not so great and they can involve the guy. I didn't kill him, not that I asked, but there are women who have lips. It is not that the man has inside, there are women who do not open to either, and then that happened. And he wanted me to leave the apartment. Then I fought, obviously I'm a person who is stressed like that. I stayed at home, and then I remembered I was pregnant with a beating. I let go too. Here it has to defend me. The cream from Camera Personal, no, it was a war. Then I didn't even thank you, right? I continued, I will leave here if you want to leave. I will leave, thank you. Dancing, until one day she sent an invitation from the one-year party of her 8-month-old daughter. I went with the huge belly and I wanted to see that this piranha and waist I gave her face at the party. I let him go too. Here it has to defend me from Camera Personal. It was a war, then I didn't even thank you right away. I continued to say that I would leave if you wanted to leave. I would leave, thank you. We danced until one day, she sent an invitation from the one-year party of her 8-month-old daughter. I went with my huge belly, and I wanted to see that this piranha and waist I gave her face at the party. No, his lover Jesus there when I arrived. My mother spoke like this, well not the it's another scrotum joke? This is the Tudo Briga Institute scrotum word. I don't know that I really knew. I was so angry, bro, think I called there when I got there? I looked at her husband, the father of the daughter of applause. It's just that the guy nor Monica crazy. I have spoken high clone right. The guy I was. When I got there, my mother said, I'm not sure if I really knew him. I was so angry when I got there. I looked at her husband, the father of the daughter of applause. It's just that the guy, no Monica, is crazy. I have spoken to the high clone right. The guy I was almost 2 meters high, blonde, no cat too. So how I said we don't believe that the woman is changing this man when my husband and I believe I said I thought. So I don't believe it is not putting to end. I don't think they really deserve to be there for her. And her mother came to tell me to tell her tomorrow there in ours how big its belly there. So much of you. You talk a lot about you. I couldn't, don't even. She's almost 2 meters tall with blonde hair and she doesn't have a cat. I told my husband that I didn't think the woman was changing the man and he agreed. I don't think they really deserve to be there for her. Her mother came to tell me to tell her tomorrow that her belly is getting bigger and that she's going to be here soon. She talks a lot about you and I couldn't even talk. I don't even know how he behaved with Paula. I sent her and she put the bottle in the refrigerator and put it on the table. So until you said nothing or anything, too much speech ended up tight here. For my house, we found it with him right then. I think he felt angry when he saw me there, and then that person made a plan that was wondering if I didn't get the courage to go. Then it happened. She went from cars and he was such a sweetheart, talking about how he'd been spending time with Paula. He put the bottle in the refrigerator and placed it right on the table as if it had just appeared there. He didn't say much, but he was definitely feeling a bit overwhelmed. We found it in the house and I think it was his partner. He seemed a bit upset when he saw me there, and then he left. She was wondering if I was feeling brave enough to go. And sure enough, she left in her car. She was dating him there. He came to my house and said, "Your cow, your muggle, today your husband will take a gift to your daughter. It's such a little gift, but I chose you. I'm here with your husband. Cow, your very, very friendly Christmas of her Christmas," and it was he called almost every day, at least 3 times a week. She turned on me and then he came home really telling the corner. The house was a simple white cube. He was dating her there. He came to my house and said, "Your cow, your muggle, today your husband will take a gift to your daughter. It's a small gift, but I chose you. I'm here with your husband. Your very friendly Christmas." And it was he called almost every day, at least 3 times a week. She turned on me and then he came home. He really told the corner. I looked at the garbage and thought, I'll take care of it. I spoke for him and he said, "Let's go choose the applause. It has been there too much to visit." And then when she wants to go there play, I told him, "Who looks this cow appears. I will kill you. 2 doesn't matter to be with you. I have to do cesarean section because it doesn't matter. I will kill you too. It is but." I looked at the garbage and thought, this is just what it is. I spoke for him and he said, "Let's go choose the applause. It has been there too long to visit." And then, when she wants to go there and play, I told him, "Who looks like a cow, I will kill you too. It doesn't matter to be with you. I have to do a C-section because it doesn't matter. I will kill you too. It is but that thing that happened." I chose one that was so beautiful from Tanya. "Stay away from the subway." I had mine. Daughter, I did not arrive at the hospital with her name. I said, "Look, this person comes ACUI because it doesn't let her go up." And then he didn't end up believing that you. It was me that if they were, they would narrate. But it won't be mentally faced because I have a daughter of mine, daughter Mariana, and I chose one that was so beautiful from Tanya. I had to stay away from the subway there. I had my daughter. I didn't arrive at the hospital with her name on it. I said, "Look, this person came up because she didn't want to go up." And then he didn't believe that I was there. It was me that if they were, they would narrate, but it won't be mentally, face-to-face, because I have a daughter of mine. Daughter Mariana and I. I was lying there in the room. Every time the door opened, I thought it was her, of course. My daughter happened to be born. I can't. Pregnancy doesn't. I didn't have time to have a applause. Mine is a pin here that I end up with that all. I didn't have the courage to do this because of my child. I thought the girl here right was everything to me, so I didn't have the courage to do this, but I looked at Lo here. I was lying there in the room and every time the door opened, I thought, it must be her. Of course, that was my daughter. I couldn't have a pregnancy. I didn't have time to have a baby. I'm a writer and I'm only with myself. I didn't have the courage to do this because of my child. I thought the girl here was everything to me, so I didn't have the courage to do this. But I looked at Lo, and it was the first time I felt so angry. I felt so much hate for him, so much, but so great. Bless you, everything you fall in love with during pregnancy. After he left, I missed him. I felt so cold and lonely in the stone house he left. I lived in my family's home, and his sister's house, and I was alone with my daughter. I talked to her for 2 months. I felt someone else. I felt renewed. He felt cheerful. I had no simpler than that. I was daddy. I had more. I felt so angry when he left, and I felt such a deep, profound hatred for him. But as time passed, I realized that everything I fell in love with during pregnancy was a blessing. After he left, I missed him so much. I felt so cold and lonely in his house. I lived in my family's home with his sister, and I was alone with my daughter. After 2 months, I felt like I had been reborn. I felt so happy, and I felt like he was my daddy. I had more than I thought I did. My head was warm, and I started to feel more beautiful. I started to like myself even though I wasn't in this situation. My financial life gave up on that time. In my work, it seems that God blessed me so much that everything I said was heard. I spoke in a way that they didn't speak, and it was almost twice as much. I saw that I was so much happier on my own. I got him, and then that happened. Some more months passed, and I met a boy. Otherwise, he would pay nothing. I felt so warm and fuzzy inside, and I started to like myself more. I felt like I was finally in a good place. My financial life was going well, and my job was going really well too. I felt like everything was working out for the best. I was talking to a guy, and he seemed to like me back. We started a relationship, and it was going pretty well for about 6 months. Then I decided to break up with him because I thought it would be better for both of us. I thought that we should take a step back and figure out what we wanted. I asked him to meet with me, and we talked about what we needed to do to make things work. We decided to take a break, and I told him that we should talk about what was going to happen to our relationship. I told him that we should talk about what would happen to our child if we broke up. He agreed with everything, so I thought, why not? I paid again and went to see him. I was defeated. I spoke to the last person alone. At that time, I paid to accept the first few motorcycle payments, which did not give a time frame for the lawyer. I paid to find the apartment for the daughter of the forest. Why was I afraid? I went, and he brought me to Brazil to buy things. Until this same Monday, I will divide our mind with nobody's son. He agreed with everything, and I was grateful for that. I paid again and attended, and he was defeated. I spoke alone at that time. I paid to accept the first few motorcycles, and I did not receive a time from the lawyer. I paid to find the apartment for the daughter of the forest. Why was I afraid? I went there, and he brought me to Brazil to buy things. Until this same Monday, I will divide our mind with nobody's son. It's kind of here and what they are talking about. The girl is finding he left, but he stayed with me, and he stayed with him. Everything was for me, the full house, his clothes with another relationship, and it's really side that was no longer married. Then so I am also from you. Assuming the relationship between my current husband, who was already married and had a child too, he says that we should live together a year later. I speak with him, here. I'm trying to understand what's going on with my friend. He said he was in a relationship with someone, but then he found out that she was married. So he decided to stay with her, and they ended up having a child together. Then, a year later, he asked her to marry him. But there was a problem with the apartment he was living in, so he had to go to court. While all this was going on, he was in a war with the other person who owned the apartment. He went to the apartment, asked for a divorce, and messed up the place. He took the key and left. And then he sent Dudu Colombo to deal with the situation for 12 years. But in the end, I won the case and he lost. He said he was sorry, but he didn't want to pay my lawyer. I just want everything to be fair. My husband asked me to do something in court, and he did. He asked about the apartment he created. There was a war right then, and he entered the apartment and asked about the apartment. He messed up everything in the apartment, took the seal, and put conjure on me. I didn't take care of the apartment very well. He sent Dudu Colombo, and the process lasted 12 years, but I won the case. Then he said he lost the case. He said I had to pay my lawyer. I want everything to be all right. And then what happened? Only the business continues to fail. This time it's Hulk. I'm waiting for everything to be all right, but I never thought that would happen. He has a great revenge headquarters, and that only stopped after he married again. He answered me that I will talk about her. I'm a friendly person and I'll send it with her. I give you the right to her because if one day something happens, you will pay for it. But I said, look. So he ended. I'm happy to share the story with you. I was able to get the story right. My good love, I managed to go around him and he was without anything. He left talking to another with debts. He also said that he was naked at his sister's house and that he was grateful for her help. He went to his parents' house and stayed there. I couldn't see the father's house and I was very well. Later, I married again and they didn't stay together. We talked and I really wanted to get the story right and I managed to do that. He was without anything when he left. He was talking to another person with debts, right? He also said that he was naked at his sister's house and that he was grateful to her. He went to his parents' house and stayed there. I couldn't see a way for him to go back to his father's house, and I was very happy later because I got married again. They didn't stay together, but we talked and made a period of case. It's over, forward between him and Hi, and then I saw the photo she put. She tried to get married in a dress similar to mine that was that color. She tried to do the same hairstyle, but one thing I would like is to see this one in life. I would like to see her make that for me. I bring the law of return. I would very much like her. I'd really appreciate it if she could come back and experience what I felt, even if it was a negative experience. After all, she's been gone for 12 years, and I've been carrying this story with me all that time. I've already processed all my feelings, but deep down I still feel this way. I'm not taking this lightly, and it's not fair to him that he's living a life today that wasn't his to begin with. I'm trying to convey what I felt, but I'm struggling. I've been thinking a lot about this story, and I've come to realize that I've carried this feeling with me for so long. I've been trying to process it, but I'm not quite there yet. I've learned that I need to take a step back and understand that there's a chain that connects us. I don't know how long it'll take, but I think it'll be a week. I don't want any revenge. I don't want to be cashing it out. If it wasn't in that room, then it's good that you're speaking up. But you don't like him anymore. I'm not sure if that's true. I look at him. I arrived and found that he had nothing with him. I realized I had arrested it and it was okay. I understood that it contained a chain. I'm not sure how long it was, but I think it was a week. I thought, we have to do something about the cashew revenge issue. I don't want that. I don't want revenge. If it wasn't in that room, then it was good that you spoke. But you don't like him anymore. I look at him and I can't even remember why I liked him so much. I look at him and I didn't even see beauty. But I lived to send people that happened there that I fell in love so much. Why? Who knows the madness of madness because of his childhood agent watching these prince fairy tales that save the princess. I imagined that I lived in that castle of Barbie the prince and their music,